the beat of music soft and sweet, I met a dusky maiden one day. With her naughty glance and charming hula dance, she made me want to linger and play. Naughty hula eyes that slyly hypnotize, that cast a spell right from the start. Deep within them lies.
Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the publication event for I Am Not Writing a Book of Poems in Hawaii, my brand new collection of poems written in Hawaii. It's my 26th collection of poems. I'm awfully glad to have you here watching. I'm going to read a bunch of poems from the book, and we're going to be joined by all kinds of special guests and surprises, which is going to be so cool, and I'm really excited that you're here, and thank you so much for joining me. Going to Hawaii was really a dream come true. I'd never been there before. Jude had never been there before. Addie had never been there before. It was the first time we ever took Jude on a vacation. Normally, when Addie and I go on our vacations, we go. We drop Jude off at camp and we head off on our own. So, it was a little bit of a, how's this going to go? Taking our kid on vacation. Turned out it went pretty well, but it also decided. We also thought, Hawaii. It seems like that's kind of an easy place to go. It's just right over there. It's just right over the ocean. Just a few minutes drive once you get to LAX, and so it felt accessible, and it was a little bit of a shorter trip than we typically take on our vacations. Because we were taking Jude after camp. We only had so much time before he had to start school. As you may know, I've written tons and tons of travel poetry books, which are usually written over a couple of week trips. The last one was this one, the Tokyo Van Nuys Express, which I wrote on a 2-week trip to Japan with Addie. So I kept thinking, there's just no way I'm going to get a book of poems out of this shorter trip to Hawaii. And then people kept saying, oh, you're going to write a book of poems in Hawaii? There was a lot of pressure. So that's where the title of the book comes. I am not writing a book of poems in Hawaii. And I'm going to start out reading a few poems about that, and then let's see what happens. This first poem is called Expectations. 1. We're heading to Hawaii tomorrow. It's a shorter trip, and I don't think I'll get a whole book of poems out of it, so I'm not really sure where I'm going with this. 2. We're headed to Hawaii tomorrow. I assume the airplane will be made out of pineapple. This next one is called Expectation. There's a lot of expectation being communicated to me on social media, where I have now revealed I'm going to Hawaii to write a book on this trip. As I mentioned, though you may have missed it if you skipped right to this page, this is a shorter trip. So I'm going to write most of it the night before we leave. I still don't have great confidence that I'm going to be able to pull this off. In fact, the next poem I write will be called, Sorry Folks, I am not writing a book of poems in Hawaii. This next poem, as promised, is called Sorry Folks, I'm not writing a book of poems in Hawaii. So if this appears on a page in a book that you are reading, I insist you question everything. Well, as I mentioned, this is the first trip that Jude got to join us on, which means that he became very present in the book. If you're familiar with all of my earlier books, you'll know that that half of them are really just written by Addie. I just kind of write down the things that she says. So now I add Jude along, and the other, at least half this book, is half the things that he said. So we're going to see if we can get a little collaboration going. We're going to see how this goes. This is a little bit of an experiment. This poem is called Jude will be writing the rest of this book. Jude discovers a pineapple-shaped fan in a store and says,
Look, it's a fan apple.
I couldn't be more proud as a parent of what he has accomplished here today. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the very first time that Jude and I have collaborated on a poem performance. Round of applause for Jude if you're watching. I'm going to read one more poem for this section, and then I'm going to bring on our friend Jack, who we met in Hawaii, and talk about him. This poem is called Parenting Lessons from the Holy One. It begins with this quote from the Torah, of all things. Do not say to yourself, because of my righteousness, God has brought me to possess this land. And the poem is called Parenting Lessons from the Holy One. We brought our kid to Jewish camp 2 weeks ago. We armed him with all the socks he could need, face masks in his preferred color, and every essential one could need in the wilderness. All we asked is that he write us postcards, even just one, so we had a sense that he was alive. We wrote to him by the system provided every single day, but our trips to the mailbox proved fruitless. We made it so easy. The postcards already stamped and with our address on them. They were tiny too, barely space to write 3 words. He could have written, I am alive. Even sent back a blank postcard, and he could tell us later that he thought we were psychic. I would have found that hilarious, but now, less than a week before we pick him up, and we don't even know if he'll still be there, we'll dutifully show up. We'll pile his dirt into our trunk. We'll take him to brunch. We'll take him to goddamned Hawaii. We won't do these things to reward righteous behavior, but because that's what he's been promised. This is our obligation as parents. We would bring him to the wilderness and then carry him back across the river to the promised land. This is how the Israelites got across the river despite decades of complaining and a golden calf, despite rebellions and broken tablets. The parent of all parents would not leave his children in the desert, and neither will we. Well, that ends the first section of poems from me, ladies and gentlemen. We did a lot of things in Hawaii, and it was a great place to be and a great place to see and eat, and the people were all super friendly. And I have to say that by far our favorite experience in Hawaii, not that everything wasn't great, was the Circle Island tour that we went on. We got up early one morning, we waited outside a hotel, and a bus picked us up. And who, of all people, was in front of this bus but Mr. Jack Gagne. He was our tour guide on this trip. He was wildly entertaining, incredibly funny, and he told us all kinds of things about Hawaii, many of which were true, and we had such a good experience. He really exemplified for us, everyone we talked to, everyone we met, told us about the word ohana, family, and they really made us believe that if you're here, you're now part of this. You are family. And Jack was the first person who we met who communicated that to us. And then he saw me writing stuff in my phone, and he said, what's going on there? And I said, oh, well, I write, poems, and I'm just trying to see if I can get a little collection out of this. And it turns out Jack is a slam poet in Hawaii too. So we totally bonded about that. And so finally, when this book came out today, I thought, my God, I need to bring Jack of Hawaii in with us. So Jack, are you with us?
Yes, sir. Aloha, brother. Aloha. How are you? Let's give a round of applause real quick for Rick. Yes. Whoa, wonderful. Aloha, you guys. Aloha.
It's fantastic to see you, Jack. I see. Is that, are you in Honolulu at the moment?
I am. I tried to get a nice shot of the mountains here for you guys. We got Diamond Head here in the back. over there, and then the wonderful Ko'olau mountain range there behind me. Beautiful here today. And I wanted to, oh no, continue, sorry.
No, go ahead. Tell us what you wanted to.
So Hawaii is just a very poetic place in general. You know, the Hawaiians never had a written language. All of their knowledge was transferred, you know, by hula, oli, which is chant, mele, which is song, and they embodied such a very special essence. And I wanted to share with you guys some like a Hawaiian poem that's over 1,000 years old, and I'd like to start it off with that. This is considered a chant by some, a poem by others. It's an ancient text. You know, I want to start it off by sharing this with you guys. E ala e kala ikahikina ikamoana kamoana ho honu pi ikaleva kaleva nu u e ala e ala e. So that there, guys, that is what the Hawaiians would gather on the beach every single morning, guys. The entire ohana, guys. So when I say gather, thousands along the shoreline, and they would chant, rise, honor the sun god, Kane Ho'alani. So I wanted to just share that briefly with you guys, and also have several of these poems here. I've been it's been very busy here. I haven't been able to piece it together, but I'm best. But I'll start it off with this one, guys. In life, I will settle, but why for less? Because my grind is stress. I need to give my mind a rest. I believe we're blind to death. One of my best friends died. He couldn't find his breath. I look up to the sky, how much time is left. Remember to positively get your mind expressed. I live with the rest. So, guys, that's a little small piece there, guys. Another one here, guys. I formulated a strategic plan to obtain more than G's in hand. I've been struggling to independently feed my fam. It's a daily battle trying to exceed demand, as if our only role on earth is to please the man. I'm coming up so I'll never have to thieve and scam. I've seen many collapse so I'll succeed and stand. Lyrically, I stay together like the seas and sand. I'm trying to heal the earth before I leave this land. Whew. It's been a while, guys, before I've opened this book here. I'm glad that we're all here sharing this, and I'd like to invite all of you guys to come out here. All of you on this here, free tour here, the one that Rick was speaking about, guys. I'd love to bring you on. You're all Ohana on this link, guys, and we just launched a new one, guys, that includes the archery, ropes course, and a bunch of stuff, cliff jumping. So I hope you guys are ready. It's all for free for my Ohana, which means you guys. All right, guys. Let's see here. Apologize for the delay here, folks. Watch your back. I got my eyes on your spot. I've been devising a plot to rise to the top. I'm hungry and ready to ride for the guap. I'm over the game, sick of supplying the blocks. That's why I live on vacation and I'm flying a lot. Rearranging my hustle, buying into stocks, sewing the game up, and I'm tying a knot. In the closing, guys, I'm going to hit you with this very, very easy Hawaiian poem that you can all follow along with. It's very simple. Sounds like this. Na I ele aku kolua ele kauma he lua I kai kino ele pele he ha olo ela ke au ke lele la I luna I lalo ka veve ka o I lalo ya ke ani na wa ke o vai ne aku ele ne o no pele na I ele aku kolua ele kauma. Your turn, guys.
Oh, Jack, that was amazing and authentic, and I'm going to pass on your email to all the people who you just told who can have a free tour, and we'll see if we can get them to come over there.
100%, guys. And you guys, free accommodations as well.
Oh my God.
I'm not joking. You're a family of Rick's, you're a family of mine, guys. This is all Ohana here, guys. I'm really happy to, have Rick throw me off the airplane. I've got out here skydiving here with you guys. This is the first time I've done some poetry for a while, and I appreciate you guys bearing with me.
If you can throw in airfare, I think we've really got it.
They don't take EBT for that, unfortunately, Rick.
That's a problem. That's a problem for everybody. Jack, I just have to tell you again. First of all, I haven't really spoken with you since we left Hawaii last year. We've texted and stuff a little bit. Meeting you was like really the highlight of the trip for Addie and Jude and I, and it was a thrill, and you made that day so much fun. And I can't thank you enough for being here and being a part of this today. And I know you haven't done poetry in a while, so I'm like thrilled that I got to push you out of the airplane, as you said, to jump you off that cliff to get you started again. Don't let this be the end of poetry for you.
No worries. And I wanted to just share with you briefly some of the things that inspired those little poems. I've lost a lot of friends, throughout the recent years, just terrible instances. And when I was young, I grew up in poverty, and I had, faced a lot of adversity from being homeless, my father on drugs, and having to, I was in a wrong place, and I didn't have the heart for where I was in life. And Hawaii is a very healing place. Whatever adversity you face, there's an answer here for a cure here on these islands, and it's a very mystical place. And coming to Hawaii and leaving the negative life, all my dreams came true. And now being, an owner of one of the largest tour companies out here, from being homeless, is just been a crazy journey for me. And poetry has been a major driving force. So I just want everybody to believe in their dreams, and just don't let anything hold them back, from achieving greatness. So I love each and every one of you guys, and let's all send our blessings to Jude and Rick and everybody, and just be there for each other, guys. And feel free, if you guys are ever in a tight squeeze, whatever. I know you guys first time meeting me, but I'm here for you guys, and God bless you all. Okay. And like we say in Hawaii, hui ho and malama pono, which means until we meet again, and keep your responsibilities righteous, guys. I'm gonna give it back to Mike, or give the mic back to Rick here. Oh, you're muted here.
There's a bunch of people saying wanting to keep in touch with you on and asking for social links and stuff. Do you have like a easy link you could say out loud, or text me that I could paste in the Facebook chat?
Yeah, so you guys can all add me on Facebook under Jack Ganya. We're working on, I have an Instagram for our tour account, which I believe it's Nui Tours 808. You guys can find me on Instagram at Nui Tours 808, but I'm more, I use Facebook more. I'm trying to get onto Instagram, but you can also leave my email address, which is GONYAS, as in Sam, @gmail.com. And I'm also on Messenger as a good one. And yeah, anytime, I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you guys. You got a friend in me. Just saying.
Ohana forever, Jack. Thank you so much for being here with us. Round of applause, everyone watching and listening for Jack. Jack, thanks so much for taking time out of leading people. Get back to that bus. They're waiting for you. Take it easy. Thanks for being here. Jack Ganya, everybody. Thanks for being here, Jack. All right, we're gonna move on, and hopefully you guys heard all his links and stuff, and we'll get in touch with him when you get to Hawaii. I can't express to you enough how fun being on that bus with Jack was. It was really a good experience. I'm going to read another set of poems. The first one is actually for Jack. I wrote this at the end of the evening as I was kind of reflecting on the day of being with Jack. This poem is called Jack. I met Jack today, and so much of Oahu, its hats and blowholes, its shrimp farms and bird sanctuaries, its macadamias, and just the heads of its sea turtles. The Pacific and I became one. I saw the valley where the plains first breached the land. I had nuts and coffee and sugar cane. I had fruit, the names of which only my wife could remember. I circled the island with Jack, who told us everything he knew. This was the day that Jack built, Jack of the land. Jack, that was for you, buddy. I hope you always have cheese in hand, as you mentioned in your poem there. This poem is called At Exactly 6 o'clock p.m. At exactly 6 o'clock p.m. at the corner of Ala Moana Boulevard and Kalia Road, where the Hilton Hawaiian Village juts out into Waikiki's main thoroughfare, a man dressed in native Hawaiian garb runs out of the village with a stick of fire and lights all the torches. For all I know, this has gone on since before Elvis stayed here. Different guy, I'd suspect. His buttocks a little more visible than one would expect in America. Hawaii is its 50th and most recent state. Some of the old ways are hard to let go of. The Olympics wake me up this morning. The Olympics wake me up this morning. They came to my hotel room and did gymnastics on the bed. I don't know who gave them a key. I recognize the announcer's voice from when he was on the TV. It was a thrill, to say the least. Tickets are usually so hard to get. Addie heard and rushed in. She apologized for the commotion, as if the Olympics are her fault. Jude stayed in the other room, clearing his throat. It was a little early for me, as I usually don't have the Olympics over before coffee, and they didn't want any. So I faced them towards the window and went to take a shower. Fruit wins. Addie asks me a question but gets distracted while I answer when a papaya walks by. I know she loves me, but where fruit is concerned, there is no competition. I think it says that on our ketubah. I love you forever, but if fruit comes along, it takes priority. This one is called While Waiting for Breakfast. A man touched a leaf coming out of a rain gutter. The Olympics slept like babies. People synced their devices. I learned how to spell synced. Sodas were delivered in bulk. Coffee got uninvented. The Roman Empire fell again. The bathroom key traveled the world. People wrote their names on a list and prayed. Babies were born. Some people chose not to have babies. Not before coffee, anyway. This one is another one called I Am Not Writing a Book of Poems in Hawaii. Because this is a shorter trip and Jude's along, I'm not writing as much. I'm going to have to use a much bigger font so you'll get the size of book you deserve. P.S. This is not me admitting to writing a book of poems in Hawaii. And I believe we're going to try to have another collaboration with Jude. It seemed like that first one went really well, so we're gonna try it again. Let me just get to the right page. Here we go. I'm praying this works. This one is called I Don't Remember the First Two.
I got a third dent, and it's in my leg.
Jude shouts halfway through my Mai Tai. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Jude Lupert reading a line of a poem that he's quoted in. Great job, Jude. I think we're going to have you back in a little bit. Let's see, a couple more before we hear from the other part of my family. It was my fantasy to have a Mai Tai in Hawaii, and Hawaii is famous for them a lot, and I really wanted the authentic one. You know, I wanted the one that tasted right, that wasn't sickly sweet. So I went to the Royal Hawaiian Hotel where the drink was introduced in Hawaii, because that's where it was introduced. That was the authentic one. It took days and days to get there because Addie didn't want one, Jude couldn't have one, and by the time I wanted one at night, they were tired. So it was almost our last night in Honolulu, and I finally got to get them to go. Jude is like sitting at the table exhausted. Addie's just like, you know, please drink your Mai Tai and enjoy yourself. No need to engage me. And I wrote this poem called Mai Tai. We're sitting at the Mai Tai bar at the beach at the Royal Hawaiian. Our 12-year-old doesn't seem interested in the ocean since, quote, I don't have my phone to take pictures of it. I tell him there's nothing like the natural beauty of the world outside of your mother's eyes. I try to contain myself, but burst out laughing after the suspicious look in Addie's eyes unravels my composure. Jude wants me to explain what I just said, and I try, but I think I just lose him more, so I say, here's an umbrella, kid, handing him the one that came with their signature Mai Tai, which brought us to this place long after either of them wanted anything to do with food or drink. They just wanted to make me happy, and as the drink goes into my mouth like so many others in so many cities and countries have, I truly am. So, this poem, one of the things that we did, that we were exposed to all over Hawaii, was music, whether it was people playing music live or just hearing the music that they were playing on the audio systems in the places that we went. And I heard for the first time from a singer named Israel Kamakawiwa Ole, which I believe I'm pronouncing correctly. You should know I wrote this book on a 10-day trip to Hawaii, but it's taken me the entire year to pronounce his last name correctly. I've been practicing for months. Israel Kamakawiwa Ole. And I was really enchanted with him, and I wrote a poem for him, and then we're gonna hear from Addie, who's gonna play a song from him. And I realized, of course, that I already knew who he was, because one of the most famous medleys of songs gets played on the radio by him all over the world. But we'll get to that in a second. This poem is called Music to My Ears. Israel Kamakawiwa Ole sings Hene Hene Ko'aka to us over these sticky breakfast tables. Our waiter, Jamie, who's had enough of our questions, says he will turn it down. This is not necessary for my ears, which have longed to be serenaded by Israel Kamakawiwa Ole since I first heard he existed a few days ago. Well, before we bring Addie on to serenade us with an Israel, I can't pronounce Israel. That's a bigger problem, I think. Israel Kamakawiwa Ole medley. I would like to share a little video that I made. So here we go. Hold on just one second, just to give you an idea of what it's like to travel with Addie. months of production went into that video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had to get a lot of releases signed. I think we wrote that at Island Vintage Coffee Bar when we had breakfast. And again, a lot of vetting and production value went into it. I think that's a really good example of what it's like to travel with Addie Lupert. Addie, are you with us by any chance?
I'm here. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for being here. I'm thrilled to not only to travel to Hawaii, but travel through life with you. Addie's going to share that famous medley by Israel Kamakawiwa Ole with us now. And you should know that she's going to do another song later as well, that Addie learned these just for us today. So thank you so much, Addie.
My pleasure.
skies of blue and I see clouds of white and the bright
Thank you so much, love. I feel like we could probably just, I think that's really all anyone really needed to see out of today. That was so beautiful and lovely. Now, I see the flowers in your left ear. I need to check my notes from what they told us at the Nutridge Luau. Right ear, you're available. Left ear, you're spoken for. Both ears, you're confused. Is that correct?
Yes, we had to look it up to make sure, but yes.
Okay, good. So, and that the flower in the left ear, that applies to me. Just
That applies to you.
okay. just checking some things out, making sure. Addie, just before you're going to come back and do another thing in a couple of minutes. Do you have a word on the fruit in Hawaii?
Oh, the fruit in Hawaii. Oh, I miss the papaya and all of the dragon fruit. Oh, it's delicious. And Jack, you brought us to a place where there was like all this crazy fruit. What did we try? Sugarcane, and there was coconut. Oh, delicious.
Yes. The fruit farm.
Yeah.
That's fruit stand. That's the one. Oh, nothing. And right now they got these Chico fruits. They look like a kiwi. I don't know if anyone's heard of a Chico, but they look like a kiwi. I don't know. Did we try them that day? I don't know if they were in season when you guys were there.
I don't remember trying them.
I remember you tried the dragon fruit, which is the color of Rick's background there.
Yeah, I was eating that a lot. That was delicious.
You did it absolutely amazing. Now you did it better than his. Oh my! What the heck? He's rolling in his grave. He's tripping. You killed it, girl. You did it better than he did.
Thank you, Jack. He's definitely the inspiration.
That was amazing. That was fantastic. And you know what's that's so cool? Like that when you guys get out, I want to get you to perform that at the stage. If you're welcome, if you're open to it. But we at the MacNut Farm, we have a stage that'd be amazing if you can perform it. That was absolutely fantastic. I'm thoroughly impressed with your performance.
Thank you.
This is amazing. We're getting like free trips to Hawaii. We're getting gigs, all from having Jack on this.
Yeah.
We've an authentic native Hawaiian has told us that Addie has supplanted Israel Kamakawiwa Ole. And after I spent all this time learning how to pronounce his name too, now I just have to say Addie's name. Jack, thank you again. Addie, awesome, really sweet. You were. I noticed she was playing a pineapple ukulele there. So just adding to the whole thing. I think that bag in the background you got in Hawaii too as well. So there's nothing but Hawaii on Addie's screen right now.
That's beautiful. I'm gonna need you guys to send me some addresses too, guys. If you guys can send me out some addresses, I want to send some gifts out here.
We will send some addresses. Our address, or any address, or just, how many addresses do you want?
Addresses of our participants today, and yours as well, of course. You know that. Will
do. All right, Jack. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for Addie. I'm going to continue with the last few poems. After spending a week in Waikiki, we headed over to Disney's Aulani Village, a resort, I should say, which was a really beautiful, lovely, indulgent place to be. Not a place to go to base yourself to explore Oahu because it's like $10 million a night. But a good place to go and spend a night or two at, just to be at and enjoy what they have there, especially if you're a Disney fan and like all the detail that they put into stuff. And one of the things that they had there was a lazy river. And this poem is called Lazy River. 1. I let Jude do all the work in the lazy river because lazy river. 2. We passed several empty tubes in the lazy river. Some people didn't make it. 3. I want to take the lazy river back to California, but not today. We spent a whole day just sitting by the pool there. It was not the kind of thing that Addie and I typically do on vacation, take a day and do nothing. But I have to say I became a big fan of doing nothing, sitting by the pool, ordering things to eat and drink. It was pretty darn cool. So I'm going to read a poem that Jude's going to join me for a couple of pieces on. and it's called By the Pool. 1. Jude's doing a toe count of every bird he sees since he saw one missing 4 of them.
Oh, good. This one has all its toes.
I hear him saying before I drift off with the trade winds. 2. Pacific Ocean Lagoon, lazy river, poolside drink, not life goals, life accomplishments. 3. Any experience not involving drinking a coconut mint mojito next to a pool, next to an ocean, can suck it. 4. A topless sea captain walks by. I can tell he's a sea captain because of his sea captain hat. 5. I wear a long sleeve black scorcher, partially to protect me from the sun and partially so people don't know what a Sasquatch disaster I've become. 6. This book doesn't have a lot of observations about art in museums, as much of what we did was outside. But if you're looking for ekphrastic observations, may I recommend that you purchase every one of my previous books that are chock full of them. 7. Cancel everything else but this. 8.
I want to take a bath in goldfish.
Jude says, and I lift up the rim of my hat because I didn't hear him, and he says it again.
I want to take a bath in goldfish.
At which point I put the rim of my hat back down, as I don't need to hear any more. 9. You can get Mickey ear-shaped shave ice here, but when it starts to melt, it's kind of a rainbow-colored horror show. 10. Addie comes back super relaxed from her massage where another man touched her all over, sticks, stones, and his hands. It was my idea, actually. We're in island mode, and when she asks me what I want to do, I take 100 years to answer. 11. The notification that it's time to check in for our flight home tomorrow arrives like an insult. No, I will never leave this place and its poolside drinks and its Pacific Ocean gently lapping up against the imported sand. It's time to check into a long nap, followed by a luau. I'm getting laid tonight. American Airlines, don't bother me. I've got one more poem before I bring Addie back on to do something with me. Our last night we sat in the Olelo room, and I ordered a drink, and as part of ordering this particular drink, I was given a free back scratcher. This poem is called Free Back Scratcher. I got a free back scratcher last night after ordering the Tropical Itch cocktail at the Olelo room. After leaving and possibly influenced by the rum and bourbon, I told everyone we walked by, strangers in the Aulani dark, I got a free back scratcher, and held it up for them to see. Also, I accidentally left the back scratcher in the bar, and Addie noticed and said, "Your back scratcher." And I said, "Oh no," and ran all the way back to the bar where it was waiting for me on the still unclean table. Jude said later, "That's a nice back scratcher," which made me feel awfully good about his upbringing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the free back scratcher that I got for ordering the Tropical Itch cocktail at the Olelo room at the Aulani bar. It's a nice one. I had another back scratcher. I just put that in a drawer because this one was so much nicer. So I have it out here on my desk, and say I get an itch on my back, in the middle of working, I can just, I can just scratch my back. So another reason to go to the Aulani resort and hang out and have a drink. I've got 2 more poems for you. This first one is another collaboration with Addie. Addie, come on in. Are you there?
I'm here.
Addie's here. This is another Israel Kamakawiwa Ole song. I mentioned it earlier, Hene Hene Koaka. We're gonna blend together the words of the poem and this poem that I wrote, which is called At the Olelo Room.
Hene hene ko aka, ko lele pa, mea ia for you and I. Hene hene ko aka, ko lele pa, mea ia for you and I.
At the Olelo Room, one of them plays a left-handed 12-string guitar, the other a stand-up bass. They're standing up behind plexiglass screens, as is the custom of our time. For a Hawaiian duo, they play a lot of classic English tunes. We learn that's because that's what Table 33 wants. But we here in Table Back of the Room want to hear more Israel Kamakawiwa Ole.
Iwa kiki makau, anane kai, e ma'a ia for you and I. Iwa kiki makau, anane kai, e ma'a for you and I.
Our waiter says the song we Shazammed is one of his favorites. Ours too now. They play something Hawaiian with a strumming that you have no choice but to internalize. They play I Can't Help Falling in Love with You again, and I can't help but weep.
Our eyes have met, our lips not yet. Palama puna kokino, gonna get you yet. Aina makapuna, kolela pa, mea mawia for you and I.
Addie's drink is too sweet, which she communicates by moving her lips back and forth in a way that I didn't know was possible. All we needed was that last song. It's 10 o'clock, which might as well be 1,000,000 o'clock the way we feel. Our sleeping child in another room beckons.
Aina makapuna, kolela pa, mea mawia for you and I, for you and I, for you and I, for you and I, for you and I. I'm gonna get you yet, for you and I.
Aw, man, that was the best. Addie, thank you so much. You put a lot of time this week into learning those songs and practicing them, and it was perfect. I love you. Thank you for being here. You got me yet.
You and I. Mwah.
Another round of applause for Addie Lupert, ladies and gentlemen. She's the best. I'm going to read one last poem to you from this book and say some thank yous. This is a poem that is called It Is Now Everywhere. I'd like to look at the ocean one last time before we go, but I'm afraid it will make me weep. You may say it is the same ocean I have in my backyard, but the ocean is always bluer on the other side. The Ohana woman chants again at 11:30, heralding the middle of the day. She will do this again tonight at 11, and tomorrow morning at 7, and so on, every day, forever, wherever I am on earth, even after I have become dust. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot more poems in this book. I am not writing a book of poems in Hawaii. It is available anywhere you can buy books online. You can read a few other poems from it on my website at poetrysuperhighway.com. I think for a brief time last week it was listed as the #1 new release in Oahu travel books. I'm not sure how big of a deal that is exactly, but it felt good for about 15 minutes or so. Certainly, no one's getting rich on poetry, but I know it means a lot to us poets when someone buys our books or puts tip money in the hat. So if you're so inclined to pick one up, that would be great. I hope you enjoy it if you do. And if you do enjoy it and want to write a note on the Amazon product page, a review or something, that's super helpful to help get the word out about it. I really appreciate all of you taking time out of your afternoon to watch this, or evening, or perhaps you're watching it later on after it's already live and it's the middle of the night. Maybe this is the kind of thing you watch at 3 in the morning. I don't know. Whenever it is, thank you for taking time out of the now for doing this. I want to say thank you so much to Jude for reading with me today and being so much of an inspiration for a lot of the things that are written in this book. Jude, thank you so much for being here today and practicing and doing a great job. I really appreciate that. Do you want to say anything?
I just want to say it's a great book, and thank you so much for being an amazing poet and father.
My pleasure. Honestly, thank you. Addie, thank you so much for being my travel partner forever and my life partner. Since Addie refuses to write a book herself, again, most of my travel books are just quoting her. Jude got in on that this time. Addie, thank you so much for being here. I love you.
My pleasure. I love you.
Jack, thank you so much for, I know you're busy running. Oh, he just disappeared. I don't know what happened. I said Jack's name and he left the Zoom. Jack, if you're watching this later on, again, you were one of the highlights of our trip, meeting you and hanging out with you and developing that Ohana connection with you. It was really, really sweet. Thank you so much for bringing poetry back to your life and sharing it with the people here. I want to thank a couple other people. I want to thank Patrice Wilson, who wrote a really sweet blurb on the back of the book. She's another Hawaiian poet who's an editor of Hawaii poetry, was an editor of a Hawaii poetry magazine. And Patrice, it meant a lot to me that you took the time to read the book and write something. And now it's on the back cover of every single book. I really appreciate you. I want to thank Bob Holman as well for doing the same. Bob's one of my favorite poets. He's been a producer of poetry for decades here in the United States. He produced the United States of Poetry series, which was on PBS a long time ago, really helping to put poetry on the map for so many people. Bob, it really meant a lot to me that you wrote something for the back of this book as well. I again want to thank all of you for watching. I really appreciate you being here on Facebook Live and watching it after the fact. Anytime anyone just gives me a like or a thumbs up, it just makes me feel like $1,000,000. Like writing poetry is a worthwhile thing, and I'm glad that it resonates with some of you and makes you laugh or entertains you or whatever it does. I appreciate it. So get the book. Check it out at poetrysuperhighway.com. I've already uh-oh, what's happening?
I'm gonna lay you. Sorry.
You saw it here first, ladies and gentlemen. I just got lucky in the publication event. I've already written my next book. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but Addie and I just traveled to the south of the United States, the Carolinas and Georgia, and that book will come out next summer. It's going to be called The Low Country Schwitz, but don't worry about that now. More about that in a year. Thanks again, everyone, for being here. Aloha and mahalo.